Hey guys, time to recap Days of Our Lives for this week, August 4th through the 8th. Big story this week is Days went to Rome. Nicole and Eric traveled to the Vatican to appeal their case to a cardinal in order to reinstate Eric in the priesthood. Nicole actually got very emotional. Actually, both of them were pretty emotional by the end of the week. Nicole emotionally yells at the cardinal, "Don't punish him! Punish me! He did nothing wrong! This is all my fault!" And Eric's like, "Nicole, don't talk to the cardinal like that!" Happy news at the end of the week. Cardinal grants Eric the opportunity to get back to the church. However, we know that Eric has been struggling throughout this whole ordeal, talking to monks, talking to his pastor, and he's come to the conclusion that he cannot be a priest anymore. In the garden, he vehemently confesses to Nicole that it is your fault, that you changed me. He's got red eyes, his face is bulging, he's been crying, and he's like, "I'm not the same man I was, and I would be a hypocrite if I went back to the church and pretended to be that guy again." Oh gosh, it was so powerful. Another big thing this week is we finally got to the courthouse. Eve and Jennifer went head-to-head in trial with Aiden Jennings as Jennifer's lawyer, which basically said, we're going to drag this out a little longer, so we're going to trial. Now this is going to cause even more complications now that JJ has confessed his love to Paige. That's right, JJ and Paige are in love, and Jennifer couldn't be happy. However, she was saying, well, when she goes to Stanford, things are going to change, maybe for the better, maybe some distance will do you good. However, Paige dropped the huge bomb this week that she does not want to go to Stanford and waste her mother's money, because clearly there may be a chance that she may not be getting any of it. So Paige has already submitted it to Stanford. She did it without talking to JJ. She did it without talking to her mom first. She says, I'm making this decision, not you, not my mom. I'm helping out any way I can with the money situation. I'm not going to Stanford. I'm deferring for a year, which means that she's going to be in Salem for a while. Yay! True O'Brien gets to stay with us. Which, of course, as we all know, is going to be good for the JJ and Paige relationship that's going to develop. Eve, she said, JJ, you better tell Paige she should go to Stanford. Otherwise, you and I will not be friends. She also started flirting with Brady at the very end of Friday's episode, which Teresa's not that happy about. Teresa got the annulment done pretty fast. All they need to do is sign it, and bing bang boom, marriage is over. And guess what? There's no settlement. Even Anne says, what, you marry him and, you save him from going to jail, and what, you just get bubkiss? But Teresa's actually trying to, I think, get in Brady's good graces so that maybe they could get back together, because I think she's really falling for Brady at this point. So she's not going to like Eve flirting with him. Eve is obviously taking advantage of Brady's vulnerability because he and Marlena had just been discussing whether or not to move John from his current hospital room to a long care facility. Brady, who has been taking on some of his father's responsibilities and talking to people in his company, Basic Black, he is basically faced with a decision that basically says to him, am I giving up on my dad? Another huge thing that happened this week, Jordan finds out that Rafe and Kate slept together, thanks to Sammy, who on last Friday decided to give her a little punch in the face after she was, knocking on her relationship. Jordan goes to the pub and confronts Rafe, finds out that it's true, is completely devastated, and golly does that turn into something big. Because then Abigail finds out it's true, Ben finds out it's true, and he punches Rafe right in the face. Yeah, Jordan slaps Kate as they have a confrontation. Rafe is defending Kate all the way because of everything she's been saying, but maybe he's starting to get a little suspicious because of what Jordan said. Abigail and Ben spend a lot of time together this week. They both agree that their lives are so crazy, they want just a time when they can just be together and be happy. Abby meets his dad, Clyde, and she says, well, he was kind of nice. And Ben's like, oh no, he has the worst temper. And we find out that the reason that Ben is so defensive of women all the time is that his dad used to be abusive to his mother. And something's going on with Clyde also. He talked to a guy, gave him some money or something, and he's watching a woman who has kids. We're not really sure. That maybe his mom. Rumors are flying everywhere, but nothing's confirmed yet, so we'll see where that leads. But Ben and Abigail did do some great bonding this week over her situation and his dad. Ben starts saying after he lets Jordan leave with Rafe that Kate is really the one to blame because he says, she slept with him even though she knew that he was taken. I mean, what kind of a person does that? And Abigail's just sitting there going, me. I do that. And Ben's like, oops, sorry. I didn't mean that. This is not you. You're totally different. When in reality it was a pretty good comparison. So that kind of opened his eyes to her situation. He's also been helping her find a job because she's currently unemployed. But that just means she has more time to spend with you, Ben. Rafe, after talking to Jordan, and she says, you think you risked our relationship? You destroyed us. After that, Rafe goes to the mansion to confront Sammy. Sammy assumes that they maybe could get back together. Sammy has this kind of bet going with Kate almost, that she says, oh, I could get Rafe back if I wanted. And so she starts off, being really romantic and saying, oh, when we were at the safe house and you were so good to my kids and I wouldn't have Sydney if it wasn't for you. We had such a good time together. But of course, I'm in a really bad place right now, so maybe we have to wait if we're going to get back together. And Rafe's just like, are you deluded? You gotta be out of your freaking mind. And then Safe starts having the biggest argument. Sammy starts bashing Kate and Jordan, saying those were just rebounds because she broke his heart. He's like, you think you're the center of my world? This only proves that you're the center of your own. Sammy wants to continue her vindictive agenda against EJ, and she decides to go after one of his refineries that Kate called his baby. And EJ's kind of scared at first. She says, what? No, I need those funds. And Kate's like, for what? You're broke. You got nothing. So EJ decides that this is the last straw. He's got to do something. So he goes to Victor, and he wants something. He wants dirty business contacts. We don't know exactly what it's about, but we know that it's dirty because Victor says, oh, one of those businesses that you grew less enthusiastic about over the years. And that's kind of implying that, when he got married to Maggie and he got, back with Samantha, they both kind of washed their hands of all the dirty stuff. So now EJ thinks that he needs to get back in that business, because really what else has he got to lose? So in exchange for making the island refinery, whatever account, profitable by consulting, Victor's going to give him these contacts. Another shocking thing that happened this week was what happened when Adrian dropped by the mansion to talk to Sammy. She starts defending Abigail and saying, Sammy, you've gone too far. I'm just trying to make you see that this is bad for everybody, including, Will and Sunny. But Sammy decides to be very, very vindictive and turns the tables on Adrian. She says to her that while she and Justin were on the outs, probably while the trial was going on and Justin was helping EJ when he and Adrian were, going through a real rough patch because she was turning her back on him and everything, Sammy says that EJ had him followed, and she has pictures, she pulls out an envelope, of him cheating on her with Aunt Kayla. At first, I was totally believing her. I was like, oh my god, Justin did not cheat on Adrian. No way. This is huge. But then I was thinking, Wally Kurth is in General Hospital. He can't really come back to add to this plot line. And then we find out that as Adrian gets really mad, she starts crying, she rips the envelope out of Sammy's hands and looks at it and she says, these are your wedding photos! And Sammy goes, yeah, but for a second you believed, didn't you? For a second you were me. You felt the heartbroken furiousness that you just want to do anything to get the pain to go away, but for me, the pain will never go away. It was an awesome scene. Props to Ali Sweeney. That was so low. Sammy said, I hope you're sympathetic to my cause now, but if you're not, then deck your head. Stay out of my way. Oh yeah, it was awesome. Adrian was furious, of course, and she calls Will. She tells Will about the whole hospital getting Abigail fired and everything. And Will said that he is even more determined now to write this article. Sunny is actually really worried about Will making this mistake, and so he goes to his Uncle Victor to ask for his interference of some kind. And Victor makes a good point. He says, you have to keep your nose out of it. You can't be interfering in your husband's business. If he's made up his mind, he's like his mother. And Sonny's trepidation is really foreshadowing big things to come in terms of Kate and Sammy's reaction once they read the article. Lastly, this week, Kristen and Daniel are hiding in the closet. He's got the gag over her mouth, and her men are just really stupid. Daniel manages to get her out and tie her in the back of a truck. During this whole thing is witty banter and really emotional stuff, and they start talking about things. He thinks about all the women that has lied to him and who's used him, and so his mindset is, I'm done with all these women trying to use me and take advantage of me. I'm taking my fate in my own hands. I'm bringing Kristen back to Salem. So he's really motivated. She tells him basically what her plan was from the get-go, and she explains how it unraveled and how she really didn't want to hurt Eric. She's just so in love with Brady. I don't know if Daniel's buying it, but they're in the back of a truck right now. So once they get back to Salem, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. A lot of stuff happened this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tune in next week. Bye, guys.